Edie Lush, and I'm here in the Hub Culture Pavilion in Davos. Really pleased to be joined by Matthew Prince, co-founder and CEO of CloudFlare. Now, 2014 was the year of the hack.
Yeah.
Tell me your thoughts about that.
It's been a busy year for us where we've seen throughout the course of the year a series of different attacks, either people stealing data or launching what are called denial of service attacks, where services are literally knocked offline. And we haven't seen any of that slow down as we're going into 2015.
Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the Sony hack.
You know, Sony, it's interesting, has had a number of hacking incidents over the last several years, and oftentimes when you dig into this, the perpetrators of these hacks aren't sophisticated criminals or people who are particularly organized, but often because Sony runs this large gaming network, it's teenagers who have nothing better to do. And so what's been crazy about the last few months is not only have you had sort of teenage hackers, which are increasingly being arrested, going after and trying to knock Sony offline, but there's increasingly evidence that even North Korea was going after the company as well. And those same threats, the fact that it's so asymmetric in these attacks, where a teenager or a nation state can actually be your adversary, has made the topic of cybersecurity one of the big topics here at Davos this year.
So, if it's very difficult to prevent, it's obviously a huge opportunity for companies like yours.
Right.
But how do you stay on top of it? How do you stay ahead of the latest way to hack into a system?
Well, CloudFlare has an advantage in that we have millions of customers all around the world that range from tiny little mom and pop businesses up to major national governments. And so we have a pulse on the internet where about 5% of all internet traffic is flowing through our network every single day. And so we often see these attacks before they come to the fruition. And we act almost like a neighborhood watch for the internet, where we're seeing what the new threats are and then finding ways to address them. It's very difficult, though, if you're an individual company working on your own, to stay on top of this, but that's exactly what our job is.
So I'm interested in, obviously, this issue of privacy then, because it can be a problem, right? If we know that there are terrorists trying to hack into systems. Equally, I don't want to necessarily know that the government is watching me every day. So what's your view? It's
really important that we make sure that we stay on top of all of the latest security trends. And so one of the things that we really focused on in 2014 and continues to be a trend for us is putting in place advanced cryptographic systems so that any traffic flowing through our network, even if someone like GCHQ or the NSA is sitting on the line, that they can interpret that data and actually be able to hack into it. So the same technology that protects you from the teenagers and the terrorists also is helping protect you, if you're concerned about privacy, from national governments.
What do you think, what's your biggest fear? Could the internet be brought down?
I think that there are two things that are really concerning to me. One is the increasing sort of balkanization of the internet, and that's been a big theme here at Davos, where individual countries are saying we want to be able to control what content comes into our borders and create essentially nation states of the internet itself. And I think that's a real threat to the internet. The other threat is that the size of the attacks, especially these denial of service attacks, are getting large enough that they're starting to impact critical infrastructure. And while I think it would be difficult to knock the entire internet offline, we saw an example where, again, it looks like teenagers were able to knock a country, North Korea, offline because they had such a fragile connection to the internet. I think that that's just going to embolden more and more attackers to go after more and more pieces of critical internet infrastructure in 2015.
Matthew, thank you so much for stopping by the Hub Culture Pavilion.
Thank you for having me.
Here in Davos, and I'm Edie Lush.